YouTube, what's going on? Got an updated 2-round mock draft. First 2-round 2018 mock draft. Kind of just had an updated one, but I felt like I needed to do it again. Post-national championship. I don't think anybody's going to complain about a updated one, so let's just do it. 2 rounds. Start with the Browns. Got Josh Rosen, quarterback UCLA, still there. There's some concerns about his passion for football, maybe. So I think that'll be the only reason that he won't go number 1. But I believe he will. I think it's not really a big concern, huge concern for me. It's kind of sticking with me a little bit because he originally went to UCLA to play tennis. He didn't have the passion for football like he used to, but then he switched that around just like that because UCLA wanted him to be their starting quarterback. So what if he goes to the Browns? Is he going to lose that passion? I don't know. I think the Browns stick with him, though. I think obviously, Hugh Jackson's got one more year. Like, if he has another terrible year, he's going to get fired. So he's not going to go. I don't think he will go Darnold, the guy that needs to be developed more. I think they want to win now. So Rosen will be that guy, I believe. Maybe they stick with Kaiser because he's got more experience, a year more experience. Maybe they go Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I'm sticking with Josh Rosen here. It's just the feeling I got. The next pick, the Giants. Switch this one a little bit. Went with Saquon Barkley, running back from Penn State, the best player in the draft. Most mocks have Sam Darnold here. I had Sam Darnold here before. As you know, I'm not a big believer in Sam Darnold. Yeah, he has a lot of potential, but he needs a lot of work. I think the Giants got to believe that the reason they were not good this year is because injuries and coaching. Just a year ago, they were a playoff team, considered a contender maybe, so they got to believe in that front office and the new coaches and the players when they're healthy that they are a playoff contender when healthy with good coaching. They have to believe that. If they bring Sam Darnold in there, that's not going to make them from a playoff contender to a Super Bowl contender, and they know that. So they got to get a guy in there that's going to help them right away, help them get back to the playoffs and possibly do more. Saquon Barkley will come in there and be a immediate impact and will be your starting running back. Now, last year I had them taking Kamara in quite a few of my mock drafts, and people gave me a little bit of smack for that, saying they have Paul Perkins. So I don't want to hear any of that Paul Perkins talk with this one. You know, I hit it on the money with Kamara last year, so don't give me anything about them taking. I don't expect that because I know everyone really likes Barkley. But Giants go with Barkley. I think that'd be the best move. They do need a lineman and they do need a quarterback of the future. So it'll be interesting. But the Colts have the third pick. They would love to have Barkley, but their biggest need is offensive line. Orlando Brown. Maybe a few picks early for a lineman, but I like Orlando Brown. I think I mentioned it quite a few times. This could be a spot where the Colts trade back to make sure they get more picks and get their linemen, maybe a couple linemen early. But Orlando Brown, good offensive lineman for Oklahoma, good in the pass and run game. Like him a lot. Browns, Minkah Fitzpatrick, DB, Bama. Josh Rosen and Minkah Fitzpatrick, that'll be a hell of a draft. Fitzpatrick can do a lot. He's more than just a safety. He can do a lot. Do everything you ask. So him with Jabril Peppers could be good for their future. Roquan Smith to the Broncos. A little different here. Something different for the Broncos. Linebacker from Georgia, obviously. Very good player. Plays at a high level. Could argue he's the best defensive player in this draft. Very smart player. Broncos need a quarterback. I imagine they get one in free agency. That's my prediction right here. That's why I have Roquan Smith there. That, and on top of it, a guy like Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen needs some developing. Much like the Giants, the Broncos got to believe that they are a contender. They won a Super Bowl just a few years ago. They won it because of their defense. Their defense isn't as good as it was then, but they can be as good. Get Roquan Smith in there. Get that defense back to where it was. Get a free agent quarterback. You're back in the mix. No problem. Jets picking next. You got to go Sam Darnold here. He's not my number, even though he's the second quarterback coming off the board. He's not my number 2 quarterback, but I don't see him getting past this point. A lot of potential. The Jets need a future quarterback, so it makes sense. It wasn't there. I'm pretty sure there was a Jets fan that had a jersey already made up of Darnold too. Pretty sure it was the Jets, so that'll be something right there if that happened. Bucks, Bradley Chubb, edge rusher, NC State, best player available. They need pass rushers big time, so I got Bradley Chubb there. And I'm sticking with the Bears, taking Courtland Sutton, wide receiver SMU. The Bears have a huge need at receiver. Courtland Sutton, to me, before this season, was my number 1 receiver. I'm sticking to it, I don't see myself changing it, but it's still early. Things can change, but he's my number one receiver as of now. So I think the Bears got to go with the best receiver. There's some talk of Calvin Ridley though, but I don't like that. I like Sutton. Next pick, Niners taking Calvin Ridley. There he is, wide receiver Alabama. Maybe a little early for me. I think he's a first rounder, but it's a little early. Kind of disappears at times. Maybe it's because of that Alabama offense, but it's a little scary. But fits in with the Niners, fits in with Garoppolo, assuming they get him back. He needs some weapons. He needs some protection as well. Maybe a cornerback they can use as well. But I'm going with Calvin Ridley. Raiders, the hope is Roquan Smith. He's not going to be there, so they take Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Alabama. Not far off from Roquan Smith. Great player, makes the players around him better. So this would be a no-brainer, I think. Dolphins could use some help on the offensive line. Could use a quarterback in case Tano goes down as well. But I gave him Quentin Nelson, one of the best players in the draft, a sure thing, possible Pro Bowler early in his career. So, yeah, Dolphins, Quentin Nelson, offensive lineman, Notre Dame. Bengals could use offensive line. They could use another quarterback. But I went with Clelin Ferrell, defensive end from Clemson. They need pass rush. Bengals are missing out on some pass rush. They need an upgrade. Pass rush might be the most important thing in football. You look at quarterback, you look at pass rush, maybe cornerback play, but it's very important. Get Ferrell in there. Beef it back up. Funny thing I saw yesterday, I actually saw a montage of Andy Dalton's missed throws to A.J. Green deep. So, if the front office sees what whoever that was that made that sees, then they might be going for a quarterback in free agency or right here. Redskins, Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming. He needs some work. Play against big-time teams or BCS or Power 5. Not BCS anymore. What am I talking about? Power 5 teams. Not so hot, but he's got a ton of potential. I can see him fitting in the Redskins. I kind of just see it. Kirk might be gone. Even if he's not, I don't know if he'll be there for a long time unless they lock him up a long time. So Josh Allen could be the guy of the future. I imagine if the Redskins are healthy, they're a good team, so I think they could afford to make this pick. I don't really love the pick, but it's kind of something I think could happen. But I guess they could afford to do it. Could go D-line or safety as well. Packers, Arden Key, edge rusher, LSU. Packers need quite a bit of defense, I think. They need pass rush. Arden Key's a freak, so that'll give him some pass rush. Need a corner, I think, as well, and maybe offensive line's getting a little beat up. They have quite a few running backs that can play, but they don't have like that solid guy there. The receiver actually could be a need, even though they have solid receivers. Some free agents. Jordy Nelson not really looking that great there at the end of the year, maybe because he's beat up. I'm sure he can still play. But yeah, I went with Arden Key. Cardinals, Joshua Jackson, corner, Iowa. This might be a surprising pick to some. I actually think they need a corner. I mean, everybody could use another corner, but I think they need another one. Joshua Jackson's my number one corner in this draft. I think he's worthy of a better pick than this even. Probably wondering, where's the quarterback? I got a bold prediction. It's not really that bold on who the coach is, I'm about to say, anymore. But, yeah, I think they're going to go with Pat Shurmur. And my bold prediction is I think they bring in one of the three Vikings quarterbacks. Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford. All three of them are free agents. I'm leaning towards Case Keenum or Sam Bradford they bring in. That's my bold prediction. Shurmur with the Vikings quarterback. We'll see. So that's why I haven't taken a corner here. Ravens need a receiver pretty badly. Christian Kirk, wide receiver, Texas A&M. On the rise for me. Kind of do-it-all guy. Great after the catch. Kind of poor man's Odell Beckham, I want to say. Even though it's poor man's, that's a pretty good comparison. So maybe a little early for him. I'm not really sold on his route running for the NFL completely. Not that it's bad or anything, but maybe a little early. But the Ravens need somebody like this pretty badly. To the next 8 picks, Chargers, Derwin James, safety, Florida State. Best player on the board at this point, most likely. And they could use another safety. So, yeah, too good to pass. Seahawks, Darius Geis, running back, LSU. I had him at the Seahawks in my last mock. I like it. I love that pick. Darius Geis, going to be a good pro. I like him with the Seahawks, pairing with Russell Wilson. Cowboys, they need a receiver. Why not go James Washington, the Oklahoma State receiver? Very underrated guy. He can just play, People worried about him transitioning, kind of just runs to get open rather than running specific routes. Receivers in the past have struggled to learn the NFL routes, run specific routes, read defensive backs, I should say. But James Washington can play. I like James Washington a lot. So Cowboys could use his talents. The Lions going Maurice Hurst, defensive lineman, Michigan. They need a run stopper, and I think he's more than a run stopper. I think he can get after the quarterback, cause some pressure as well. So this would be a solid pick. Bills, as of now, 2 picks in a row. Daron Payne, big riser after the national championship, defensive lineman from Alabama. Another guy, run stuffer, but I think could get after the quarterback as well as being an elite run stuffer. And the Bills definitely could use his talents right away. And then I have the Bills going with Mason Rudolph. I like Mason Rudolph a lot. I think he's very underrated. He might not go in the first round from what I heard, but I think he has an excellent arm, very accurate downfield. The Bills, score 3 points in their first playoff game. Is it all on Tyrod? No, but I don't think they really like Tyrod. They're trying to put Nathan Peterman in there in that one game, so obviously they want more of this pocket passer. So Mason Rudolph, I like him a lot. I think he's underrated. He can really throw the ball, so it could be what the Bills are looking for. To me, in my opinion, the Bills are probably looking for a guy with experience. They're not going to – I don't know if they want to get I don't think they'll have the opportunity to get Darnold, but I don't think they would want a guy like that. But I think they want a guy with experience and that could win. You look at there's really only 2 guys that are possible first rounders that have experience and can win. That's Rudolph and Baker Mayfield. I think they want to go away from that Baker Mayfield type, so that's why I gave him Rudolph. Rams, Denzel Ward, corner Ohio State, maybe too good to pass at this point. Corners are also free agent, even though I imagine Tremaine Johnson will be back. He is a free agent, and you could use another one to pair with him, number 1 corner to pair with him. That could be scary if they get both those guys. Panthers, Deion Kane, wide receiver, Clemson. Maybe another receiver taking a little early, lack of production, disappearing in big games sometimes scares me. But the Panthers are missing that speed receiver, and Ted Ginn, I think he come in there and do what he did, maybe better. So I think they would love to have a guy like Deion Kane, that speedster. Next 8, last 8 in the first round, actually, before we get into the second round. Titans, Carlton Davis, corner, Auburn. Long corner, I think Titans could, obviously they can use another corner. I think they can use one like him. Adoree Jackson playing very well, but more of that, I don't want to say slot corner. I think Logan Ryan's more of that slot corner, but Carlton Davis being a little different than Adoree Jackson could help them out. They don't want too many of the same guys. So, he's a beast from Auburn. When he was out of the game against Georgia, they really struggled without him. So, and then when he's one-on-one with Calvin Ridley, he shuts him down. He's a good player. He's a first-round corner. Like him a lot. Sticking with Lamar Jackson, the Jags. Not a Jags fan, but I just kind of want to see this. I would love to see this. It'd be scary. I like Lamar Jackson a lot. I think somebody can change the game. It's with him. Build around him. They kind of already did build around him, and he's not even there yet. I think it's going to be very, very hard for teams to stop this. You look at Bortles. He ran for more yards than he threw. Imagine if Lamar Jackson played in that game. I think he would have threw for more yards than Bortles did, and he ran for at least double the amount, and it would have been an easier game. So I don't know. There's some teams out there that really, really struggle when they play a running quarterback, when they play Cam Newton. They struggle. Like Mariota can run on some teams like the Chiefs. They really struggle, and this guy's the best running quarterback that I've seen. You're talking about Michael Vick, really was a factor, possible Hall of Famer. Lamar Jackson was a better passer in college than Michael Vick was in college. So if you want to compare there you go. I like Lamar Jackson. This would be scary. I think he's worth a better pick than this even. Falcons, Mark Andrews, tight end, Oklahoma. Falcons don't really have a ton of holes. Austin Hooper can play, yes, but I don't really like him. I think the Falcons are missing a top-tier tight end that can really help their offense. Their offense has not been nearly as good as it was last year. I think this will make them a lot better. So, yeah, they have another tight end that can play. I don't think he needs to be sitting on the bench or anything, but this just makes them better. A pretty close to complete team. This is a way for them to get better. That's why I have them here. Saints, Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker, V-Tech, big riser. Really like him. I think the Saints will most likely go linebacker or QB of the future here. So I gave him Edmonds, the linebacker from VTech. Steelers, Baker Mayfield, quarterback, Oklahoma. Big Ben may be done after this year, but if not, it's soon. I think they'll like Baker Mayfield, especially at the end of the draft here with him sitting here. I think, I like Josh Dobbs. He didn't have that pro style play, and Mayfield's the same thing, but way better than Dobbs. So I don't think they would hesitate to take Mayfield as their future quarterback here. Vikings, Christian Wilkins, D lineman, Clemson. Do they really need this? Not really. They're a pretty balanced team. Quarterback situation will be interesting, but Christian Wilkins is by far the best player on the board at this point, so too good to pass. Zimmer and Spielman wouldn't pass on this. Patriots, Sony Michel, running back, Georgia, one of my biggest risers. I love Sony Michel's game. Complete back. I think he'll be better in the NFL than in college, mainly because he had to split with Chubb. I think he's much better than Chubb. He really can do it all. You don't really see a lot of running backs that can hit the hole that hard, run that fast, and be that elusive. He's really got it all. Like, really in the NFL, like, the best backs in the NFL aren't that fast. Like, Todd Gurley got faster. Yeah, I think Michel's, another Georgia running back, is faster. Look at Le'Veon Bell, doesn't have a lot of speed. It's like, because the guys that are smart are the best running backs in the NFL. The fastest guys aren't as smart. That's why they're not the best. But this guy's a smart runner, hits the hole, and he's fast, can break tackles. So I think Sony Michel could end up being, if he gets the opportunity, he could end up being a Rookie of the Year candidate for next year. So I really like him a lot. One of my favorite players in the draft. And the Eagles, another pretty balanced team. Could use an offensive lineman, so I gave Mike McGlinchey, Notre Dame offensive lineman. Too good to pass pretty much at this point. But I think this is more of his range. I know some have him a little higher. I think this is more of his range, end of the first round. So, game of the Eagles. Now the second round, very colorful, color-coded by the players' schools. So, let me get into this. Browns, I got them going with Kerryon Johnson, running back from Auburn. Could sneak into the first round, really can do it all. Le'Veon Bell, catch the ball out of the backfield as well. The Browns could use him. Saquon Barkley could be an option in the first. But if they don't go him, Kerryon Johnson could be an option. Giants have a big hole at offensive lineman with Connor Williams, the Texas offensive lineman, and had him drop a little bit after reviewing him. Most games he looks like a first rounder, but then there's some inconsistencies. Some games he struggles, and it doesn't even look like he's a second rounder. So that's why I dropped him a little bit here. But the Giants would love to have him, obviously. Get Saquon Barkley and Connor Williams would be an A+ draft. Browns, another pick. So far I have them taking Josh Rosen, Minka Fitzpatrick, Kerryon Johnson, and now they need a corner, Jair Alexander, corner from Louisville, one of my favorite players in the draft. This guy's all over the place. First noticed him early last year, really caught my eye then and through this year, and it'd be an excellent pick from the Browns, excellent draft. Colts, Harold Landry, Boston College edge rusher. Couldn't believe I still had him on the board at this point. Really, Colts could use pass rushers, maybe not the biggest need, but it's just too good to pass at this point. Too good to pass. He'd come in there and start right away. Jets, Bryce Love, running back, Stanford. Jets could use a running back. I had him taking a quarterback in the first. Bryce Love could be a good NFL running back. Problem is, continues to get hurt, even though he still plays. So positive there is toughness. Negative is he keeps getting hurt. So is that going to happen in the NFL? Some teams may drop him for that. Some teams may view him as a late first rounder because of his talents. So I gave the Jets Bryce Love. He can come and start for them right away. Bucks, Tavares McFadden, corner from Florida State. Last year was viewed as maybe a top 15 pick. So he's dropped a little bit. Could still go first round. Bucks need a defensive back as well as edge rushers. So they got Bradley Chubb and Tavares McFadden in this draft. That's another A+ draft. Bears, Dallas Goedert, South Dakota State tight end. People are going to let me have it for this one. I already know because they drafted Adam Shaheen in the second round last year, I believe it was. But they bring in Matt Nagy. Chiefs offense loves Travis Kelce. Without him in that second half, they were not the same. So Matt Nagy from the Chiefs. You got to get him that Travis Kelce. You got to go get him Goddard. He's very similar to him. This guy's a freak. Probably a first-round talent. But he went to South Dakota State, so maybe he slides as a second. You get Cortland Sutton, and you get this guy. It's very scary. You can play him and Shaheen at the same time, so I don't want to hear they have Shaheen already. They can play both. It would be scary. To me, as soon as I got the notification that who they hired as head coach, this guy popped right in my head. Early second round for the Bears. The second I saw that, first thing that popped in my head was this guy for the Bears. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Broncos, Ryan Finley, quarterback, NC State, guy that's rising up boards, a game manager. Broncos could use him. I think he's a better quarterback than anybody on their draft. Maybe this is a little early, but I think he's a better quarterback than anybody on their roster, I should say. Sorry. So first round Roquan Smith, then Ryan Finley here. Raiders, Martinez, Rankin, Mississippi State's offensive lineman. Raiders could use another offensive lineman. Some consider him a late first rounder. Could potentially be. So there you go. Dolphins, Malik Jefferson, another guy, linebacker from Texas that I had in the first round. In all my mocks, could go anywhere between the end of the first round or right here. Dolphins getting another linebacker, too good to pass, makes sense. Patriots, Vita Vea, Washington, defensive tackle. A lot of people have him in the first round. I think he's mainly just a run stuffer, a very good one, but those guys tend to drop a little bit. I think he can develop as a pass rusher, but not right away. I think he's mainly a run stuffer, but at this point, too good to pass for the Patriots, and they could use his talents. Redskins, another too good to pass moment, and they can use a safety, Ronnie Harrison from Alabama. Some view him as well as in the first round. Packers, Isaiah Oliver, corner from Colorado, physical corner. Packers obviously drafted Kevin King in the second round last year. They can use another corner, even though it might surprise somebody that they take two corners 2 years in a row in the second round, but I can see it. They can use Oliver, physical corner. Makes sense in Green Bay. Bengals, Billy Price, Ohio State offensive lineman, can play center, can play guard. Bengals need another offensive lineman. They might need a couple. So I gave him Billy Price. Cardinals, Luke Fack, quarterback, Washington State. Yeah, this is a little early for him. A little early. But that's what happens with the quarterbacks. And my prediction was Shermer is going to come in there. They're going to get a free agent quarterback so they can get him as a backup. I think he's good, but I'd feel more comfortable in the third round, but it's something I can see happening. Chargers, Okafor, the offensive lineman from Western Michigan, get Phillip Rivers some protection. I have him taking Derwin James in the first round, so get the offensive lineman in the second round. Jets, they already had a pick here in the second round. Bryce Love, they get another one. Holton Hill, Texas corner, like him a lot. He may shoot up draft boards when we get closer, so that'd be a pretty solid pick. Another corner, Cowboys, taking Levi Wallace. One of my favorite players in the draft because he's so underrated. This guy can play corner. He knows how to play corner. Some of these corners are like just such freak athletes where they get away with stuff, and then coaches think they can develop them, which most of the time they can if they take him this early. But Levi Wallace can already play the position. He's underrated because he's a senior, because there's a lot of other talent on Alabama, but he's one-on-one over there. Teams don't really throw his way, and when they do, he breaks it up. He makes a play on the ball. So I think the teams that Bama play know that he's good. I don't get why he's not getting any talk. I don't think he's really getting any second-round talk. I wouldn't as it's early to say, but I wouldn't bash a team for thinking about taking him late first round. I think he can play. Lions, another corner, Mike Hughes from UCF. This guy's a technique guy. He's got the technique down. One of the better players on Central Florida's defense. I think opposite of Darius Slay, they could use another number one corner to make them legit. I had him taking a D lineman in the first, and then now Mike Hughes. That would be very solid, make that defense very scary. Ravens, Okoronkwo, the edge rusher from Oklahoma, outside linebacker. Some talk of first round. I think he's better. It makes more sense in the second round to me. Ravens, they have guys like this. They've drafted guys like this, but they haven't been afraid to just make that defense better. Maybe getting up there in age, even though they drafted some guys last year like Tim Williams. But they could use another guy like this, and maybe too good to pass. Bills, I had them taking a D lineman and a quarterback in the first round. I like them taking a linebacker as well. Jerome Baker from Ohio State, very good linebacker. Another guy that can shoot up the board, come closer to draft time, maybe late first round. So Bills really having a good draft so far. Chiefs, Anthony Miller, wide receiver from Memphis. They need another receiver that can get open. Anthony Miller, excellent route runner. People say Calvin Ridley is the best route runner in this draft. I could say Anthony Miller maybe is the best. He's right there with him. Panthers, Colton Miller, UCLA offensive lineman. They had the Panthers taking a receiver in the first. Now they get an offensive lineman to help Cam out. That last play of that game against the Saints was like he had no chance. He was sacked instantly. So it's pretty not just because of that, but it's pretty obvious. Another offensive lineman. Bills get another pick, 4 picks by this time. Sam Hubbard, another D lineman. Yeah, I mean he could play outside linebacker, but upgrades that pass rush there. And I'm just realizing that that's 2 Ohio State players in the second round: Jerome Baker, Sam Hubbard. That could be pretty cool. Titans, Josh Sweat, Florida State. Edge rusher can play outside linebacker for the Titans. This guy's a freak. This guy's a freak. Had a pretty bad injury. That's why he drops here. His skill and potential is probably first round. Not probably. I think it's first round. So he's supposed to drop a little bit. Not much talk about him first round, but he had an injury. But Titans need some more pass rush. Even though it's been pretty decent lately. Beginning of the year looked terrible. It's been picking it up. But this guy's a freak. Another one of my favorite players in the draft. Falcons, Deshaun Hand. Another Bama defensive lineman. Falcons don't have too many holes. Could use another D lineman. Jags, Marcus Allen, the Penn State safety. The Jags may have one of the best secondaries in football. Their 2 safeties getting up there in age. Barry Church turned 30, I believe. So Marcus Allen could be another guy that can get in there, maybe not start right away. He's capable of starting right away, but just to have options there because they don't have a lot of holes. Another balanced team, need a quarterback. He also can play in the box as well, built like a linebacker too. So Marcus Allen's a guy that could do a lot for you. Might be better in this. Could possibly sneak in the back of the first round. Biggest weakness is his probably plays too far off. Pass plays sometimes too far off the ball. Ball's in the air. He kind of comes up going for the hit to knock the ball out instead of trying to make a play on the ball. But very exciting player, very good player. Niners, Braden Smith, offensive lineman from Auburn. I like this guy a lot. Could play tackle, could play guard. Niners need some protection. Vikings, Kaiser White, West Virginia safety. If you want to see some big hits, go watch some Kaiser White tape here. This guy flies around and just really, he looks like a linebacker. He's listed as a safety, and I just call him a safety, but that's probably I don't know if that's the case. He plays most of the snaps in the slot. So is he a box safety? Is he a nickel corner? Either one. And, Mike Zimmer would love to have a guy like that. Terrence Newman, I'd imagine, would be done after this year. So this could be a guy that takes Terrence Newman's spot. If you watch the Vikings at all, you'll see, obviously, you see Rhodes and Waynes at the outside corner, like the whole game. And you'll also see Newman and Mackenzie Alexander play. So you'll see any game. Pick any game as long as all 4 of those guys are healthy. You're going to see all 4 of them. So Newman gone. You're going to see White in there. It just makes sense to me. Steelers, TJ Edwards, linebacker, Wisconsin, a guy that can come in there and play right away. Very smart player. Could pick it up right away. Steelers could use another linebacker in the inside there. Browns, Deshaun Hamilton, Penn State, one of my biggest risers. The Penn State receiver knows the game, does everything right. Guy that could go even earlier in this. So Browns, how many picks they got right now? I had them taking Josh Rosen, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Kerryon Johnson, Jair Alexander, and Deshaun Hamilton. Am I missing any? I think that's all of them. That's just ridiculous. And the Patriots, another too good to pass moment. Austin Bryant, Clemson D end, pass rusher. He could go earlier in this, so I had him taking 2 defensive linemen. I think they did that last year, 2 defensive players, but their defense was kind of weak this year. They could use these guys, both these guys, Vay and Bryant, can play right away. Other possible second rounders that I didn't mention, there's a bigger list than these guys, but these are the guys that came in my head right away. Dorrance Armstrong, the pass rusher from Kansas. Deshaun Elliott, the ball hawk from Texas, safety. Nwosu, the edge rusher, 3-4 outside linebacker from USC. Harrison Phillips, the interior D lineman from Stanford. Really like him. Marcus Davenport, Texas San Antonio, pass rusher, is a sleeper in the draft. DJ Moore, another one of my favorite players. Very athletic receiver from Maryland, almost like a running back when he gets the ball. Very fast, very elusive, can break tackles for a receiver. And then I listed 3 running backs here. John Kelly, one of my underrated guys of the draft, Tennessee running back, Kamara's backup last year, who got action last year. Very similar to Kamara. Kamara more of he's a smarter runner than Kelly. Kamara was my number 16 player in the draft last year because all of his skills, and he's a smart runner. Kelly, not that he's not a smart runner, but he doesn't have that trait, but he's aggressive. He can break tackles like Kamara. I mentioned this before. Kamara breaks tackles, but because I think he's smart. He knows where to run. He's not really like a vicious runner. Kelly's kind of a vicious runner, aggressive, stiff arm is nasty. I like John Kelly. I like him a lot. Ronald Jones, the USC running back, getting some second-round talk. Damian Harris, another hard runner. Lack of receptions maybe drops him to the third round. He's a running back from Alabama. There's a long list of guys more than this. These are the guys that came to my head when I did this. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you click that subscribe button. Like the video. We do playoff picks. We already did our divisional round picks, so please check those out. We've got Super Bowl picks. We're doing it every week. More draft, more predictions for each week, off-season free agency talk, predictions, all that. We got you. Don't you worry. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.